salute to Joey Bada for coming back. And, dude, salute to that, bro.
Bro.
This is real hip-hop, baby.
It is.
This is why I got into the genre, man. What a great fucking track list.
So that was a moment from our live reaction to Joey Badass's new album called 2000 that we did on our Patreon, and it was such a good time. We really enjoyed that first listen, and if you guys want to watch the whole thing, check out the link in our description. So Joey Badass's new album is out, first album in 5 years,
Yes, sir.
and he decides to drop a sequel to arguably the best mixtape of all time, in my opinion. So how did you like it, man?
Oh, honestly, man, off of first listen, I knew that this was going to be a special album to me. But let's start getting into these categories, guys. So artist performance, man, like you're going to get such a smooth Joey throughout this whole project, man. That's the first thing I want to say. Like, feels like Joey's home again, like he could do no wrong over Static Selective production and the type of things that he's doing with all these types of passionate performances through the track list constantly keep you engaged. So, why did you gravitate towards his artist performance so much? And like, what are you looking at in this album right now?
I think he really stepped it up in terms of his maturing as a writer. I think it's some of his best songwriting. I think it's some of his most introspective writing as well. In terms of songs like Make Me Feel, that's an absolute fucking standout. Probably my favorite song on there.
That is contention for one of the verses of the year. That
Absolutely,
is some of the best
bro.
displays
it's
of
literally a
rapping I've seen
lyrical
all year.
onslaught for 2 minutes straight. And what I love about this album too and Joey's performances is the fact that he's ripping through these 3-verse songs in an era where 3-verse songs are kind of this anomaly in hip-hop. So I love to see him kind of holding his weight throughout entire tracks. Apart from that, I mean, I do want to talk about a couple of critiques that I do have, because there's a few. There's nothing major, though. On a song like Where I Belong, I feel like the auto-tune on the hook was not needed at all.
You were telling me once the single dropped that you didn't really like it that much. That doesn't bother me as much as, let's say, something like I believe it was on the song with Chris Brown. That was
the cringy lyrics.
Yeah, Welcome Back. I just listen. It's not that I'm not a fan of seductive lyrics. It's just they have to be done right, and I didn't gravitate towards it. So I think that's a gripe with mine. But I think he had a fantastic and dynamic performance on something like Brand New 9/11, where he has this super confident air to him. It feels like you're in New York. And I think that another thing that was so cool about Joey throughout the whole project is that you're getting his classic New York, Brooklyn cadence that you come to love on previous projects, now just putting it in more of a developed and modern twist in 2022. And it still sounds refreshing. I'm so glad I waited 5 years, because he sounds like he's comfortable and he sounds like he was ready to write again. And everything felt super natural. Nothing was forced on his part. Not only that, but something like Cruise Control, bro. Okay, that was a fantastic hook, man. Like, even starting to dip into his melodic bag a bit and starting delivering, hooks like that with 2 serious verses attached to those
Some
hooks.
of his best ever singing, in my opinion,
That
bro.
was fantastic as well. And I mean, listen, besides that, you're also going to get super passionate, verses on songs like, Survivor's Guilt, where he shows his emotions. He's ready to show what he's thinking. So I think it was a super dynamic performance.
Super dynamic. Man. I mean, he doesn't really do much, I would say, to leave his comfort zone besides a couple of songs, but you don't want him to. This album feels like a continuation off of what he built on 1999, and you do see that evolution in his pen. And I also like a song like Eulogy, where you see that he raises his pitch at certain moments, which reminded me of World Domination off of 1999.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was really dope. And overall, I think that the artist performance was amazing. There was no real missteps besides a couple of moments, a couple of nitpicks that we had. But overall, he showed up and he really impressed us on that front. But next up, the content matter. And this was interesting because before the album came out, he said that 1999 was about him growing up in New York, and this album would be about him glowing up in New York. And that's kind of what you get, as he's kind of giving you this full circle picture of what his life was once like and now where it's gotten to. And now he's kind of rapping about the investments that he's making. He's rapping about the knowledge that he wants to leave behind for his daughter. So it was cool to see how, even though he's still a 27-year-old kid, he's grown so much, he's learned so much being in the industry. And like I said, the writing is immaculate all throughout.
Oh yeah, it's really, really, really well done. And what I like about it too is that yes, he's showing the glitz and glam of glowing up in New York and becoming a boss, and investing into property and talking about his records, talking about how he took an independent route with Pro Era and how that had influenced other rappers. But he's still going over the negative effects that you have coming with it. So example on Survivor's Guilt, you're starting to feel this guilt and pain through glowing up without capital C, saying we was just 2 kids trying to make it out the bottom. Now I'm I'm rich and rotten. Every day I think about him. It's survivor's guilt. Wishing I could have stopped him, let alone just know how he feel. Like, you're not going to find that on luxury rap albums, but you still have it there. Plus, Joey feels like he's in a competitive mode because even on something like The Baddest verse 1, rapping who the best MCs, Kenny, Joey, and Cole, the Holy Trinity, it's that 9-5s in affinity.
You agree with that? Is Joey cemented top 3 in the game?
Listen, man, when it comes to lyricism and putting together beautiful projects, I think that we have to respect him. He does not have a dud in his catalog, and I think 2000 is further proof of that. And I'm listen, even something on Brand New 911, just the self-growth and talking about him as a mogul. We exposed the secrecy, screaming, rest in peace to Steez. If you don't got the power, you just got to peek and see for yourself, because when you stay connected to the source, you won't need nothing else. And that's stuff that, I found in projects like Before the Cash, so I was really appreciative of that type of content.
And my favorite song, I think, Content Matter, would have to be Head High, which is an amazing showcase of Joey's storytelling ability. I love the fact that he's kind of taking us through that journey of when he first met XXXTentacion, how they collaborated and how they had this very transparent relationship where Joey was telling X about the types of things that he wasn't liking on X's project, and X was super receptive to it. He was down to hear that criticism. So it's cool to get an insight on Joey's relationships as well. Not only that, but if you're a hip-hop head, you're really going to appreciate this album just because there's so many hip-hop references in terms of Joey doing interpolations of other people's classic lines, especially from New York rappers. For example, on a song like, this was on... which song was this? I'm not sure. I didn't write it down, but he raps, "Do your best not to sweat the technique," which of course is a reference to Rakim and Eric B's song, "Don't Sweat the Technique." Also on The Baddest, he raps, "It's been a minute and I still kick with a style and no gimmicks." That's a reference to his opening line off of Summer Nights, which is the intro to 1999. So there's a couple of Easter eggs in there too. Even Diddy mentions on the intro track, he says, "As we proceed to give you what you need," awesome. Referencing Biggie. So a lot to go through in terms of that. And
you know what I like too about the track list as far as the content matter goes, the 14 songs. I think that it was super well calculated on that front as well. And I also love the intro and I love the outro. Example, on something like, I believe it was
Written in the Stars.
Yeah, Written in the Stars and The Baddest. The Baddest, you come in and you kind of understand why Joey's been doing what he's been doing for 5 years. Telling you like, I could take 5 years because my shit is timeless. And then once you go through the whole journey of the 2000 track list, you get Written in the Stars, and it's kind of more of a reflective phase. It's him talking about like, shit, I know where I'm at, I know where my skill set's at, and I know where I have to go. So this is the project, and I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think that a big difference between this and 1999 is that on 1999, I felt like Joey was a bit more animated in the sense that he was really focusing on punchlines, on double entendres. He was kind of focusing more on like the technical side of rapping. But on this one, you're getting better fleshed out thoughts on his verses. I feel like from beginning to end, the verses have a bit more purpose, you could argue.
Yeah.
So I thought there was a nice evolution there. But you're still getting punchlines like, "Who wanna spar? I got war scars, 2 ARs, and 4 scars." So I like to see those rhyme schemes. I like to see the wordplay there as well. So overall, I would say the content was great, right?
You see, like, now that I'm thinking about it, we were agreed on great before this. I mean, listen, we'll give it great, but I could see myself warming up to this and giving it amazing in the future.
To me, it's a few of the love songs that I feel like that kind of brought down the content score a bit for me, but overall, it was special, bro.
It was definitely a great written album. So let's get on to the features, all right? Because I want to start with West Side Gun, man. That's one of the best features of the year. And whenever Joey and West Side Gun end up linking up, you know that it's going to be a fantastic song. They've done it in the past. And
327.
Brand New 911 was nothing short of that. I mean, what's cool about the chemistry as well is that, West Side Gun comes in for verse 2, but there's ad-libs that bleed throughout the whole production that I think complement Joey's cadence super well. Plus, you have West Side Gun coming from Buffalo, and you have Joey coming from Brooklyn. You have that New York connection, and I feel like that's super prominent as well throughout that collaboration. But I want to talk about the J.I.D feature because it's really special, man. Like, I love the way that he was able to switch up his tempo at the end and then speeds it up, and he has a super sick rhyme scheme towards the end that keeps me engaged. But what's your favorite feature?
Oh, it's got to be West Side Gun, bro. Yeah. The boom, boom, boom ad-libs are classic, and it complements that saxophone so fucking well. And even West Side Gun's writing impressed me too, because he's rapping about how his friend is doing 30 years in jail, but he's sitting on that bunk bed and he's drinking some Ace of Spades. He's having a good time. He's accepted his fate. So it's cool to see, Joey and West Side Gun connect the way that they did. And I feel like I could see that like a movie. I could see like the music video already. Them cruising through a fucking Porsche, streets in New York. It was very scenic. I like that a lot. J.I.D. killed it as well. I like what Larry June did on the song One of Us.
Yeah, I like this constant like monotone flow that he had kept for that whole second verse on One of Us. It kept me engaged, and it wasn't too long to the point where I'd gotten disengaged. So I was a fan of that.
Chris
feature
Brown
as well.
had a pretty good vocal performance, I would say, on the song Welcome Back. But that is like the one skip for me on the album.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it's because of the features. I'm being honest with you.
No,
Maybe,
it's not.
Maybe at one point I'll end up gravitating more towards that, but I think the features were amazing. Like everyone ended up performing. You're gonna get some crazy collaborations, and even who Joey handpicked to come into this album was really special for me because you're gonna get fantastic lyricists on here. For the melodic cuts, you're getting Chris Brown. I mean, you can't get much better than that.
You're getting Diddy and Nas showing him love and giving him his flowers, which is really special
Not
too.
only that, but you're getting Capital Steez actually talking about his vision at the beginning of Survivor's Guild.
You get Absol talking about
so
Capital
sick.
Steez and Pro Era and how they connected also.
Yeah, how he was in the studio in New York and they're skateboarding around, and then after that, Joey ends up going on tour with him. So, listen, I'm a really big fan of the features, but all right, let's go on to the production, baby. This is such a big category because I don't even know where to start, man. I think that Joey and Static Selecta are like, I can make the argument top 3 duos in the hip hop game right now.
Forget about Chuck Strangers though, because Chuck gave us some of the best beats on this entire album.
I agree with you. I just think that when it comes to Static Selecta, I think it just suits Joey's cadence.
I think Chuck had the best beat on here. Brand New 911 was Chuck. That saxophone sample
was crazy.
Was perfect. That's the most memorable moment to me sonically on the entire project. But Joey knew what he was doing when he formed this soundscape. Sure. He knew which beats he would sound the most comfortable on, and it really does sound like that continuation of 1999 in the sense of it's sample paradise. You're getting these old 80s, 90s R&B samples that are featuring these vocal samples that are beautiful for Joey to riff off of. Not only that, but you're getting classic vintage New York boom bap drums. You're getting the kicks, you're getting the snares in full throttle here, and I think that it's the perfect soundscape for Joey to really glide over. And to be honest with you, even on a song like Show Me, that was a highlight because you get the Man I Trust sample where you have this beautiful guitar riff, which you didn't hear too many guitars on here. So that was super refreshing to the overall soundscape. And I just love the cohesion. I love the sequencing because it really feels like every single song belongs to that era and to that album.
Yeah, not only that, but you're going to get also some super nice luxurious cuts as far as production goes on something like Zip Codes that was produced by Kirk Knight. And like Kirk Knight is a fantastic producer, has done many songs with Joey, and seeing that Pro Era link up was very special for me, especially that I'm such a fan of that New York style production, and I'm so glad that Joey is continuously, bringing this old renaissance, of hip hop from, the 90s in New York, but putting these modern twists on it, and it was so refreshing in 2022. And I think just the soundscape as a whole, like, it's super dynamic. I mean, you're not just getting the same sample flips over and over and over again. Like, everything was perfectly sequenced. I mean, nothing gets disengaging as the track list goes. And yes, I do think that there's some beats that could be produced better because I just didn't get engaged into them. But for the most part, the whole track list, I mean, I was engaged. I really do enjoy it. So
absolutely,
I enjoyed the soundscape, man.
I think that it was an amazing production overall. Everybody killed it. And it's definitely something that's going to keep you immersed into that track list. It's just the consistency of the beats. But by the way, shout out to Young Guru too, who actually did all the mixing and mastering on this album. Sounded fucking rich, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounded rich.
That's going to be hitting in your headphones. But okay, let's talk about the replay value, man, because as Joey said on The Baddest, this is how he started off the album. Listen to this. I can take 5 years off because my shit is timeless. And I have to agree with him, man. I'm every time Joey drops an album, I end up putting it into my rotation and it never leaves. I'm still bumping Before the Cash. I'm still bumping 1999. I'm still bumping All American Badass. I'm having so much fun going through his stuff. Even, collective tapes that he's been a part of, like Escape from New York. Like, I love whatever he touches, and I think this has given me a similar sentiment. How many times did we run through it this morning and it still sounds refreshing? I want to start this recording right now and go listen to it. I just don't think it's going to get my perfect rating, for one thing, and that's because
we have a skip.
Yeah, because we ended up having a skip on it.
But overall, I think that like this track list is going to be super accessible for the average hip hop fan, just because he's giving you so many different moods and so many different styles. You're getting those deep emotional cuts that could be super relatable on a song like Head Higher Survivors Guild. But then you're also getting more motivational songs. You're getting more jazz lounge songs like Cruise Control, where he's crooning a little bit. You're also getting songs about, him just balling out on Brand New 911, which are going to be super fun to bump in the whip. So he's giving you a bit of everything. And again, one miss out of 14 songs, It's a pretty good fucking ratio,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely. If I'm like, because even at that, like, Welcome Back could stay in the rotation.
It's not even that bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad song.
No.
It's just like in comparison to everything else
It
on the
feels
track.
like it didn't fit, to be
Exactly.
honest.
But I mean, like, it's not a product. Like, that's why it's just not perfect. I don't want to go any further with it. But I mean, yes, I do think that the replay value on this will be amazing. It's going to be one of my most played of the year. And guys, I'm being honest with you. I think this is cracking my top 5 albums of the year so far. I have to be honest with you, bro. It's really a solid effort. I've enjoyed it so much. And I think that's why I want to get into my overall thoughts now. I waited 5 years for this project. I'm super happy with what was delivered, and I had a pre-concern going into this album because 1999 is a very special mixtape to me, and I've been bumping it for years now. So for Joey to come through and deliver a sequel to that, it had to be impressive. It was impressive. I love how Joey has matured as a writer and what type of perspective he was able to put into the writing. When you're getting productions from Chuck Dangers and also Static Selecta, you're bound to have a beautiful soundscape, and overall, listen, in my opinion, I think it's an amazing album. I had so much fun.
This album really gives me a timeless feeling because it sounds like he took the sound that you got off of 2012, but he modernized it. And I think that that's a good sign that music is timeless when it feels like it could have came out in 2012. It feels like it could have came out in 1998. It feels like it could have came out in 2022.
But that's what happens when you have Static Selecta and Chuck
not only that,
Strangers.
it's Joey's performances too, bro. I mean, he's talking about subject matter that's timeless. The themes on this album are relevant now. They were relevant back then, and I think that's what's so special about Joey is that he's really has this mindset that's elevated. Not only that, but I also think that this project has New York written all over it, and I like the fact that getting this traditionalist jazz rap is a rare commodity in today's climate, and Joey is bringing that nostalgic feeling to so many hip-hop fans who have been yearning for a fucking album
yeah,
like
and there's
this.
so many people in the community that are already fucking with it. So listen, guys, it's definitely one of the best albums of the year. Let us know in the comment section where you agree with us and where you disagree with us. And honestly, thank you from the whole NFR team. It's a pleasure doing content for you guys, and we have a load of stuff coming. So if you guys are new to the experience, please hit the subscribe button because we're doing reviews like this on a weekly basis. If you guys want to go check it out, we just dropped our new Uzi review. First thoughts, because it's an EP. It's on the channel right now if you want to go grab it. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and we'll catch you on the next one.